I'm going to talk about changing your belt or replacing the belt in a um, Delco cassette player with Equalizer. It's from my 1992 C1500. There's a tape in there it wouldn't eject. And so I took the player out. When you do that, you should be able to see other videos, but I've got I forget what it's called, the CDM here, removed from my truck, but it's plugged in. The cassette player is plugged in up by the accelerator pedal. Excuse me, accelerator pedal. You unplug it from there, and then the hardest part. Well, one of the hardest part, but what gave me more difficulty is routing this cable through behind my dash so I could pull the cassette unit out. I just seemed to have trouble getting it out, but it did take me a while, and I finally got it. I think I took my ashtray out to do that. But once you pull it out, I think see there are a couple of screws here. I already have it disassembled, and then there's a screw on each end of this to remove this faceplate off of the body. And once you do that, there are a couple of screws that you can take the top off of this. And then, okay, it's actually sitting in here upside down. I just laid it in here, but it's going to be like this. And there are several screws. I think there are two. I've taken them out and put them back in so I wouldn't lose them. But there's one here, one here, one here, one over here, and I think there was one in the back that you pull out. I undid all those screws. I could not get the cassette player out of the case. And it turns out it was just stuck here. I had to put a screwdriver down and just pry it out. There's something on the back of here that was just hanging up in this area. So if you undo all your screws and can't get the cassette player out, look right back in here through the back and see if you can wiggle it out by pushing something there. Now, sorry, something I left out. When I took the faceplate off, there were these two ribbon cables attached here. I had to unplug those carefully. And then before I could remove the cassette, this ribbon cable was plugged in right here. So that wasn't a problem to unplug those. Sometimes cables can be very difficult to unplug with hidden tabs and things you have to squeeze and pull on. I seem to have trouble with that. So the other thing I've done is this has already been removed, but you can see there's a screw here, and partially hidden by this ribbon cable, there's a screw right there. So this cover laid on here, right where those screws are, I'll line the holes back up. Something about like that. These little tabs here went up in here in these slots. So there were 3 small screws here, here, and here. I had to peel this tape off gently, or I like to keep stuff like that. So I just peeled it off, peeled it back, undid these screws. Actually, that's the screw there. Took that off, and again, I just reinstalled my screws so I wouldn't lose them. And so here were where the belt was. So here was my original belt. It was laying in here in some way. And I found some pictures of routing of the belt, which I'll show you how they route. But the thing that I had some difficulty with is finding a new belt. So this is the belt I had, the original belt that was on there. I measured it and it was about 9.8 inches long, but I also realized that it maybe had stretched out, and I'm fairly certain I had just been goofing around and pulled on it and stretched it out. So I couldn't really trust how long it was, but I could look at the thickness still. The thickness would not have changed. So I learned a lot about these belts. I still have not found any definitive information, and I don't think this is going to give you definitive information, but hopefully it'll make your cassette player work, which is more important than definitive information. So I ordered this SCA 9.6. That means it's a 9.6 inch belt. The SC means square cut. The A is a reference to the thickness of the belt, or the circumference, if that's what it's called, the perimeter, anyway, how thick the belt is. That's an A. What I ended up ordering to use is an X. It's an SCX 9.2. Now that's what I found a source on the internet said to use that, and people are saying it does seem to work. SCX 9.2, also labeled SBS 9.2. I got these from, what was it, the turntables, not remembering the name of the place here, turntableneedles.com. Although you can look on eBay and Amazon as well. I ordered one off of one of those, and it turns out they were out of stock, so I just ordered one from turntableneedles.com. However, this is definitely thinner than my original belt. This on the right is the original. The one on the left is the new one. May not be able to tell that easily, but it's definitely thinner. When you're looking at it from one angle, it may not look as thinner, but when I'm holding it in my hand and rolling it between my fingers, I can tell this is definitely a smaller belt. Now, where that comes into play is, if you'll pardon the pun, is it fits in the grooves of these wheels or pulleys. So this is going to be this new one is going to be a little smaller fitting in here. This SCA is definitely a little thicker, although it goes on. It does fit. This one, as Goldilocks said, was just right, the one in the middle. But I believe this is an SCQ. Q is a designation that lies between the X and the A. But they don't make one in what I would feel is the proper length. But anyway, I've been looking at belts and learning about them for about 2 weeks, and I just decided to go with this one. Also bought one of these bags off Amazon of all these random belts. I think this would work okay. I found one that was about the same as this. I did read some reviews on Amazon that those are probably not the best quality belts. They could break. So I do not want to have to take this all out again. So I just waited a week and till I got mine from my new one, and I'll use this one here. So I'm going to put it in now and come back and show you what that looks like, and then we'll get it installed and see if it will play. Okay, so the routing of the belt is this is the motor pulley. I'm fairly certain. Not sure which direction it really runs for forward and backwards, but it goes here and then around this pulley and then back. So This also came with 2 alcohol wipes. So let me talk about cleaning. I did not clean the belt. It seemed fairly clean. I had cleaned the pulleys before with alcohol. So I think that's what you're supposed to use. And it didn't come with any instructions, but the belts are pretty darn clean since they're new. I assume they want you to wipe down the area where the belt is running, which I'd already done. So I cleaned as much as this up with alcohol as I could, where the wheels, where the belt will run, and anything else I could clean down with alcohol. Of course, I cleaned the head here and anything else I could. The other thing I did was I lubed the moving parts. Now, there are a lot of moving parts in here, and people say, "Oh, lube well, you've got the part, lube it up." Well, I don't really know what to lube, but I had some 3-in-1 oil, and other than plastic parts, I did not lube. I didn't lube the plastic parts, but anything that was metal on metal that I could access, I went ahead and lubed it up. So, all right, I'm going to stop this video, and then we'll continue in part 2. Well, let me say, I'm gonna reassemble it by screwing the things on. Let me show you a couple of quick. After I do that, I'll show you a couple of quick pictures as well.